Now to a shocking twist in a murder that stunned a neighborhood in the Bronx.
A man found dismembered inside an apartment. Now today, police arrested a man named Sheldon Johnson. He is a criminal justice activist, and he boasted about turning his life around after getting out of prison as recently as going on shows like the Joe Rogan podcast. Now tonight, he is back in handcuffs, and he's facing murder charges. His first Ida Siegel is in Highbridge, where the crime scene investigators are still looking for evidence.
Oh my God.
That's 48-year-old Sheldon Johnson being walked off in handcuffs, yelling to reporters that he didn't do what cops say he did. Murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. It's a shocking set of charges for a man most recently known for this.
I had a wife, I had family still, my son was growing up. He was hearing stories about my so-called notoriety.
That's Johnson appearing on the popular Joe Rogan podcast, talking about his efforts to reform himself and help other kids detach themselves from gang life, a job he's uniquely qualified for after spending 25 years in prison for attempted murder as a high-ranking member of the Bloods.
Wow.
Does two things to you. It brings out the best or it brings out the worst.
But police say this is also him, here on Summit Avenue Tuesday night, carrying cleaning supplies and a full black garbage bag in and out of this building. Police were called to apartment 6G after a neighbor heard gunshots and saw Johnson in and out of the apartment. She told the building super. When police entered the apartment, They found a man's torso and a foot inside a bin. Law enforcement sources say after seeing Johnson on surveillance footage, they searched his apartment and found the victim's legs, arms, and head in the freezer.
That's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It makes you want to move real quick.
Police say the victim is 44-year-old Colin Small. Sources say it's possible their dispute stemmed from time they spent together in prison. But folks in this neighborhood shocked to hear that a man who had worked so hard to turn his life around, even working with the Queen's Defender's Office, might have fallen back to his old ways in a very violent fashion.
Yes, he was turning his stuff around and stuff like that, but remember, we're creatures of habit. So whatever happened in his violent past probably crept back up, and there you go.
Could have
We
resurfaced.
reached out to the Queen's Defender's Office. No comment at this point. Again, Johnson says that he's innocent. Reporting from Highbridge, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
Okay. I mean, I guess some people, I guess you could be framed. It reminds me of that not George. Reminds me of Dave Chappelle. The skit he did where, he was playing a psychic and he was like talking to the criminal in jail, and you could tell it was a brother calling. And he was like, all right, I see your future. He's like, you getting out? He was like, say word, son, say word. He was like, all right, 6 months later, you're going right in for the same. He said, you're going back in for the same damn shit. And hung up on him. And, it's a stereotype. That was a comedy skit. But the stuff really happens. I've grown up with a few dudes that all keep going in and out for the same stuff. And I mean, if he got 25 for attempted murder, and then you find a body in his house cut up into several pieces and in his freezer, man, that's some. And he talked and presented himself like, there's a lot of dudes that get out of prison, and guys know this, they say they institutionalize, when they talk, the way they present themselves, the way they act, you can tell that they've been to prison. He seemed relatively calm, and, the way he spoke, you take him for anybody else you might see on the street. You know what I'm saying? Wow, now that make me want to find that episode of Joe Rogan and watch it. And see what that's all about. Wow. 25 years. That's crazy. I know somebody that did like 9. And you never know it. Never know it. Real cool. Real cool. Never know it. It's like some people get out and they don't ever have to go back in for nothing crazy. You know, he didn't never, you know, relapse or start acting up again. But I don't, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But that looks crazy for you to go in for attempted and then for you to get caught like that. I mean, it's almost some Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. It's not even like, oh, he tried to shoot somebody and, you know, tried to kill, you know, and then we put him in for 25. You get out and you got body parts. That's... Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think about this. If you enjoyed what I had to have my comments on this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you got any more details, comments below.